Bellator middleweight champion Johnny Eblen reveals some details regarding Dustin Poirier's recent negotiations with the UFC. As you guys know, earlier this week, Dustin announced his fight with Benoit Saint-Denis was off. Roughly an hour later, Dustin said that he spoke to his manager and the fight is on. Johnny Eblen, who's close friends with Dustin, reveals what Dustin told him in regards to this situation. Dustin allegedly confirmed that he never actually verbally agreed to this fight, and the UFC just announced it while Dustin was trying to negotiate with them. Eblen said they're trying to generate interest and generate likes and clicks. I think that was not a good move on them because I know Dustin pretty well, and I actually spoke with him about it today. They just didn't come to terms, man. The things that Dustin laid out for them that they need to provide for this fight, they were not willing to do it. Dustin's in the position where he's like, motherfucker, if you want me to fight, you gotta do this, this, and this for me. If you're not gonna do this, this, and this for me, I'm not gonna fight. It's not like he needs to fight, man. He doesn't need to fight ever again. He makes really good money. He's doing well for himself. He's one of the best lightweights to ever do it. One of the best fighters to ever do it. I'm a huge fan of his fight style and the way he fights. I just think it's kind of horse because I know how much money the UFC makes, and they could make that fight happen, but they're choosing not to because they're being stingy in a way. The fact that no contract was signed and they were willing to announce it is beyond me, man. That's never happened to me. Not even a verbal agreement, Dustin said. Dustin said, yeah, that sounds good, but like, we got to get this deal worked out. That's not a verbal agreement. A verbal agreement's like, hey, if you do this, this, and this, I'm in. And they're like, okay, we'll do this, this, and this. Okay, cool, I'll fight him. Then you do the contract and you sign the contract. There wasn't even a verbal agreement on his end. It's kind of crazy to me that they were willing to even promote it to this degree and then let it backfire like this. Robert Whittaker says he's focused on bringing that animal back for his upcoming fight against Paulo Costa. Rob says he's coming to hurt Paulo.
In hindsight, which is always 20/20, and we took things away that we liked, added things that we wanted to add, made some tweaks here, some changes there, and honestly, I would think it's been for the better. Like, I'm coming into this fight hungrier than ever. I've been really focusing on trying to bring that animal back. I'm not just in it this fight to win. I'm in it to hurt Costa, and I think that mentality is it's a powerful thing to have.
Alexander Volkanovski says despite the 2 losses to Islam, he believes he still has a chance to win the UFC lightweight title.
Would you say, I guess, the lightweight dream is over, or is that still goal for you?
Definitely not. You know, I'm a realist, so obviously, yeah, that's it. So obviously straight afterwards, I'm a realist. I'm not expecting a rematch straight away, you know what I mean? But that's definitely something. I know everyone's going to see that, you know, they're going to be the age thing and all that. You know, obviously there's going to be some people doubting, oh, you know, is his time done? And which is hyping up this fight, so I'm all good with it. But everyone's going to be reminded, and then everyone's going to be switching, you know, full. I know you're saying there's nothing left for me in 145, and they want me to go take that lightweight belt. So that's what I'm going to plan on doing. I'm going to go out there, take care of Ilya, and then we'll see what's next. But lightweight's definitely in the near future.
Daniel Cormier makes the case for why the trilogy in Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz would be the best main event for UFC 300.
And what I will say about UFC 300, it's missing a big fight. That big fight that it's missing has to have a backstory. That big fight has to have bad blood. That big fight has to bring the eyeballs. So it can't be Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards because it just doesn't have enough to it. While it's a fantastic fight, it doesn't have enough to it. McGregor fights Diaz. That is what I believe draws the general fan in as much as anything that they could do in the UFC right now. Just because of Nate Diaz and the intrigue, the way the first fight played out, the way the second fight played out, it is still 2 of the highest grossing pay-per-views in UFC history. These 2 men, when you put them together, make a lot of money. And it is far enough out there to be considered an attraction. Because I also believe, Ryan, that at this point in their careers, right? Sure, Nate Diaz isn't the guy that he was before, but neither is Conor McGregor. This isn't the guy that knocked out Jose Aldo no more. This is a new fighter. This is a guy that is not as good as he was back then because of all the things that have happened in life afterwards. But when you put them 2 together right now at the state and at the part of their career that they're in right now, then you have that type of fight. If I'm being completely honest with you, Ryan, while I want Michael Chandler as a friend to get his fight and get his payback, and get his payday, I think Michael Chandler, and I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way, I think Michael Chandler is actually stepping back to fight Conor McGregor. I think that Michael Chandler is leaving the elite of that division right now and stepping back to fight Conor. He's really choosing the name and the money over competition, because I do believe that there are bigger fights for Mike for where he is in his career opposed to where Conor is in his career.
Michael Chiesa, who shares the same agent as Dricus du Plessis, claims that they are trying to book Dricus versus Israel Adesanya at UFC 300. Izzy recently posted this to his Instagram, hinting that he'd be on 300. Many fans thought his opponent would be Alex Pereira because of the dragon emoji. Nothing is official just yet.
Look, for me, I would like to see him fight Dricus du Plessis. And I have the same agent as Dricus du Plessis, and I think that they're trying to make it happen. You know, he does have a compromised leg from the fight, maybe working on a new contract.
More text messages between Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta were leaked and are making the rounds on social media. These texts are regarding former UFC heavyweight Mark Hunt and were obtained by Bloody Elbow through unsealed court documents. A few weeks ago, texts of Dana and Lorenzo discussing John Jones were leaked. These texts were regarding negotiations for a rematch between John and Alexander Gustafsson. John allegedly wanted to fight Daniel Cormier instead. It starts with Dana saying, "What's up with Jones? Did he straighten up or is he still being a scumbag?" Lorenzo replied, "Still a douche, but we're inching closer. Haven't moved on money, but sent the letter with an ultimatum." Dana replied, "Awesome, f that punk. He needs to know that we don't need him or he will f us over more than he already does." Now onto the new text regarding Mark Hunt. These texts are from August of 2014 and it's about a contract dispute with Hunt. Lorenzo told Dana that they haven't resolved their contract dispute. Dana responded, "Okay, yeah, he's a head," and then asked Lorenzo to bury that. According to Bloody Elbow, during Dana's deposition, he explains that line just meant to sue Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt responded to this. Hunt reposted it to his Instagram. He wrote, "How nice, more beautiful. Antitrust documents leaked. Jail is calling you just like it's calling Lesnar and McMahon." And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Michael Curtis. It says, "Sandhagen should go party with the Nelk boys. Immediate title shot after." The second one's from Jay Kennedy. It says, "I love how Sean is just straight back to being himself. He might have been bitter about the loss at first, but he doesn't really seem to care anymore." And the final one's from F-Bomb. It says, "GSP is turning into an old master, you know, full of wisdom but can still kick your ass." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.